Dear learners, welcome to the second video of this module. In the earlier video, we have discussed about the Indian philosophies as broadly classified into Astika and Nastika system. The Astika systems believe in God and accept the authority of the Vedas, while the Nastika systems do not believe in Vedas, even though they may believe in God or gods. The Astika schools refer mainly to six systems of philosophy. They are Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Sankhya, Purva Mimamsa, and Vedanta. We have already discussed about the Sankhya philosophy in the earlier video. As discussed, Sankhya philosophy is a foundational system in Indian thought. A distinguished Indian sage named Kapila was the founder of the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya explores the nature of reality, the distinction between consciousness or spirit, that is Purusha, and the nature or matter, that is the Prakriti, and how they interact to create the world we experience. Today, in this video lecture, we will discuss about the Nyaya philosophy, which is an Indian Astic philosophy. So, Nyaya philosophy is one of the six classical schools of Indian philosophy known as Sadha Darshana. It focuses on logic, epistemology, and metaphysics, offering a systematic framework for understanding, knowledge, perception, and reasoning. The term Nyaya translates to logic or rule. The founder of this school of philosophy was Akshapada Gautama. Nyaya is a Sanskrit term which means rule, method, or judgment. Nyaya is predominantly based on reasoning and logic and is primarily concerned with the condition or correct knowledge and the means of receiving that knowledge. Therefore, Nyaya is variously known in Indian philosophies such as Hetuvidya, science of causes, Anisheka, science of critical inquiry, Pramana Shastra, epistemology or the science of correct knowledge, Tarka Shastra, science of reasoning, innovation and synthesis. It is also known as Vedanta, that is the science of discussion, and Fakika Shastra, which is the science of uncovering sophism, fraud or error. Nyaya philosophy is the form of direct realism which states that anything that actually exists is knowable by human beings. So according to Nyaya, correct knowledge and understanding is distinct from simple reflexive cognition. It requires anuvesha, cross-examination or reflective recognition of what one thinks one knows. So we can discuss the history of Nyaya philosophy. The period during which Nyaya school was developed is uncertain. The Nyaya Sutras composed by Gautama, which is a foundational text for Nyaya philosophy, is estimated variously to have been composed between 6th century BC and 2nd century CE. So the Nyaya Sutra, which discuss logic, methodology and epistemology is very old philosophy, is a later refined, expanded and applied to spiritual question by Nyaya scholars that followed. Nyaya's philosophy's major contribution to Indian school of philosophical thought was its systematic development of the theory of logic and its treatise on epistemology. The most important thing of Nyaya philosophy is contribution to the theory of knowledge or epistemology. Nyaya identified four valid sources of knowledge that are the pramanas. First one, perception, which is called pratyaksha. It is the direct sensory experience that we gain through our sensory experience. Then second one is anumana, that is the inference. It is the logical deduction based on reasoning. Then third one is comparison upamana, which is the knowledge through analogy or comparison. The fourth one is testimony, sabda. It is the reliable verbal testimony, especially from authoritative sources. Let's discuss this four knowledge in detail. Nyaya philosophy is basically treated as the theory of knowledge, and its scholars develop many treatises on epistemology called Pramana Shastrastra. Pramana in Sanskrit stands for the means of knowledge, the way of knowledge. It refers to the reliable and valid means of gaining true knowledge. Nyaya philosophy established a theory to identify errors and the process by which errors are made in acquiring knowledge. These include samaya, problems, inconsistent or doubt, and vipraya, that is the contrariness error, which can be corrected or resolved by the systematic process of tarka, that is the reasoning. So, the first knowledge, that is the perception or pratyaksha, is the primary means of knowledge. Perception can be of two types, laukika, ordinary, and alaukika, that is the extraordinary. According to Gautam, ordinary perception is a non-erroneous cognition which is produced by the intercourse of sense organs with the object. And extraordinary, that is the alokik perception, includes yogic perception, induction from perceived specified to a universal, and perception of the current state of object induced from its previous state. Second is anumana. It is that knowledge which is deduced from prior perception. Knowledge acquired through anumana is based upon a well-known or observed concomitance, that is the connection between two things, one as the cause and the other as the effect. For example, the concomitance or concurrence between rain and the cloud, smoke and the fire is important. In Nyaya philosophy, inference or the anumana is indeed categorized into three types based on the context and the direction of reasoning. These are purvavata, that is the interference from cause to effect. In this type, the interference is drawn from a known cause to predict its effect. For example, observing the dark cloud in the sky and interfering that it will rain. So the reason behind is that dark clouds are a cause of rain, therefore rain is likely to happen. The second one is Sheshavata, that is the inference from effect to cause. Here, the inference moves from an observed effect to identify its cause. For example, observing a shallow river and inferring that there must have been heavy rainfall upstream. The reason behind is that a swollen river is the effect of heavy rainfall. Therefore, rain must have occurred. The third is Samannatodista, that is the inference based on general observation. This type relies on the generalization of the past experience or universal relationship observed over time without a direct cause-effect connection in the present. For example, observing smoke on a hill and inferring the presence of fire. The reason is that whenever there is a smoke, there is a fire, as observed universally. Therefore, there must be fire on the hill. Then, another important pramana is upamana or analogy. It is the knowledge of the thing derived from its similarity to another thing which is already known. Telling about cat to give the knowledge about tiger to children is an example of upamana or analogy. Then the fourth one is agamana, aptavaksha or testimony. This refers to the instructive assertion of a reliable person. This instruction may relate to perceptible things or about intangible realities. However, testimony can be of two types, Vedic, which are the word of the four sacred Vedas, and Laukika, or the words and writings of trustworthy human beings. Now, we can discuss Nyaya philosophy in terms of reality, or which we call metaphysics. Nyaya provides a detailed methodology for logical reasoning and argumentation. It emphasizes the importance of systematic debate and analysis to arrive at truth. Nyaya philosophy believes in pluralistic realism. According to Nyaya, there are many independent realities which are broadly divided into two classes. The first one is being, existence, and second is non-being, that is bhava and abhava. Being or positive realities, that is the bhava, are of six kinds, that are substance or drabya, quality or guna, action or karma, generality or samanya, particularity or vivek, and inherence or sambhavya. And the non-being abhava represent all negative facts or all kinds of non-existence. According to Nyaya, there are 16 padartha or categories. They are pramana, prameya or object of knowledge, samaya or doubt, prayojana or the end, distanta or an example, siddhanta or a doctrine, abhibha or members of the syllogism, tarka or an hypothetical argument, nirnaya or ascertainment, veda or discussion, jalpa or wrangling, pitanda or cavilling, hetavasa or fallacies or inference, sala or quibbling, jati or futile objection, and nigra shastra or the point of defeat in debate. So these categories give the topic of philosophical discourse, and the second padartha, that is the prameya, includes all objects of knowledge and the categories of reality. The drabya or substance is the substremum of qualities or action and the constitutive or material cause or composite things. Again, we can discuss the 9 substances. The 9 substances are Prithvi, earth, Jala, water, Tejas, the fire, Vayu, air, Akuka, the air, Kala or time, Day, shape, Ataman or soul, and Manas, the mind. The atoms of earth, water, fire, and the air are eternal, while the compounds made of them are non-eternal. We cannot ordinarily perceive an atom. The existence of atoms is provided or proved by inference. And the guna. Guna or quality is defined as that which exists in a substance and has no quality or activity in it. It is a non-constitutive cause of things. It determines their nature and character, but not their existence. There are 24 kinds of quality. These are color, rupa, taste, rasa, smell, gandha, touch, sparsha, sound, sabda, number, sankhya, magnitude, parimana, distinctions, pratyava, conjunction, samogga, disjunction, vivagga, remoteness, paratta, nearness, aparatta, cognition, buddhi, pleasure, sukha, pain, dukh, desire, isha, aversion, devsa, effort, prayatna, heaviness, gurutva, fluidity, dravata, fissivity, sneha, tendency, samkara, merit, dhamma, and demerit, adhamma. So these are the 24 kinds of quality, or that we call as guna. Then we have another important type, that is the karma or action. This karma is physical movement. There are 5 kinds of action, namely throwing upward, utkavesa, throwing downward, avakesa, contraction, expansion, and locomotion, which includes all other kinds of actions. Samanya or generality is common essence of all the individual of a class. It corresponds to the universal. It is an eternal and entity which subsists in an identification form in all individual of a class. Viveza or particularity is the extreme opposite of the universal. It stands for the ultimate difference or peculiarities of the partless eternal substances. The differences of composite things may be explained by the difference of their parts. There are innumerable wishes since the individual in whom they subsist are innumerable. Samvamba or inherence is a permanent or eternal relation between two entities, of which one is the other. The whole is in its part, a quality or an action is in a substance, the universal is in the individuals, and the particularly is in some simple eternal substance. This is called sambhava or inherence. Abhava or non-existent represent all negative facts. The reality of non-existence as distinct from existence cannot be denied. That a thing does not exist in a certain place at some time is a real a fact as that something else exists therein. Non-existence are of four kinds. That is the abhava. That are pragabhiva, the non-existence of a thing before its production. Then the non-existence of a thing on account of its destruction after production. Then the absence of a connection between two things for all time, for example, the non-existence of color in air, and the last one is mutual non-existence. That is, a bag is different from a pen. This means that either of them does not exist as the other. So these are the four kinds of non-existence or abhava. So Nyaya philosophy explains the origin and destruction of the world in terms of four kinds of atoms of earth, water, fire and air. So it is called the atomic theory of the world. However, Nyaya does not ignore the moral and spiritual principles governing the process of composition and decomposition of atoms. This philosophy believes that the world is a system of physical things and living beings having bodies with senses and processing mind, intellect and egoism. Nyaya philosophy combines pluralistic realism with theism and believes in the existence of God as the supreme self. Who is God is one, infinite and eternal. He is the omniscient and omnipresent cause of the creation, maintenance and destruction of the world. The existence of God and existence of God is proven by the testimony of the scriptures and inferences from the principle of causality, the moral law of adrigma, and the authenticativeness of the scriptures, and so on. So to conclude this video lecture, we can say that Nyaya philosophy, which was founded by Gautama, is one of the 6 classical schools of Indian thought. That is the Astika philosophy. It focuses on logic, epistemology and metaphysics. It emphasizes the pursuit of truth through a critical reasoning and identified 4 valid sources of knowledge. That are perception, pratyaksha, inference, anumana, comparison, upamana and the verbal testimony, sabda. These 4 valid sources of knowledge are very important for you to remind as the knowledge defined by Nyaya philosophy. Central to Nyaya is its systematic framework for logical argumentation in its 5-step syllogism. It classified reality into fundamental categories like substance, quality, action, while addressing metaphysical questions such as the nature of God and the self, Liberation, that is the moksha, is achieved by overcoming ignorance through knowledge. Renowned for its rigorous methodology, Nyaya philosophy is significantly influenced Indian intellectual tradition, especially in refining the logical reasoning and debate. So I hope throughout this video lecture you are able to understand the Nyaya philosophy as one of the important classical school of philosophy among the other 5 categories. Thank you.